How long have you been?
I know.
Oh, you're
All right.
She didn't answer, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, just send her a note.
I'll send her.
So you guys want to poker game?
Yeah, she did.
The cards.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, there's no new there.
What's this song?
Which one?
Can you send this to me?
Yeah, and from the mango dates. They've asked. Oh, that's
Every 10 minutes. So many.
I didn't mean that, but that is true.
Tell me what's where. Oh, that's right,
He didn't say anything. He just asked me.
He didn't even write it. It's called a double.
All right. I always carry a bag full of work with me. So I'm getting this stuff ready for a couple of days. And it looks like
Tell all your friends.
It snowed, started cold rain for us. We got there, it started snowing. Rain was killing us. And she's been there about 20 years. She said she can only like almost 30 by the time it snowed. Yep. But he said it totally rained on that. But there's still sitting on the
Well, he was.
All right, we're back. So the motion on the table is Octopass as amended because there's a fiscal note. Any further discussion before we take a vote? See no discussion. All in favor of the motion of Octopass as amended, please raise your hand. All right, all opposed? All right. Yeah.
A motion ought to pass as amended. I'd like to read my amendment. The GA officer has the authority to establish an overpayment, and that GA eligibility can be reestablished after 121 days upon repayment or agreement to a repayment plan that reflects the ability of the person to repay.
You're going to hand it over?
I will.
I'll second it. All right, so we're moving to second by Representative Hymanson and Representative Keene. I don't quite follow that. Could we have some discussion on that, Representative Sanderson?
That does not remove the 120-day restriction, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So you're asking for either repayment or be in the process of utilizing and performing and repaying under a repayment plan after the 120 days is over.
What we heard is that it's a very small number. And it's a voucher program. People don't get cash. And so there is an ability to develop a repayment plan that locally that can garnish wages, that can set up whatever locally is enforceable that reflects the ability of the person to repay, but that repayment has to be signed.
So, excuse me, not after the 121 days is what I'm hearing from. I guess what I want established is that 120 days is still in place. All right, I'm getting nods. Either the overpayment has either been repaid or the individual who who committed the fraud piece is willfully and actively participating in a repayment program, even though the full amount hasn't been paid after the 120 days you're okay with. Okay.
Can we, the 30-second corner?
You need more 30 seconds? No. Okay.
I think procedurally, he's right. No, I'm going to follow that. Okay. I guess we would like appreciate
So we heard some good news.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just wanted to know, I wanted to from some of the folks from that. All right. We're back. Could we hear from some of the local public?
Can I just make one comment?
Yeah, Representative Katina.
I mean, I also think, I don't want it to be lost, the motion. I mean, my understanding is right now, the ability of a municipality to seek overpayment is triggered by the fair hearing process. This actually gives the municipality an additional power. If a person chooses not to appeal the fair hearing, the municipality can seek repayment at that point and after. So, I mean, I appreciate it. You know, this is an important bill. We're working it hard,
yeah.
and we listened very carefully to what we heard from experienced people today, and I just wanted to make sure that that part wasn't lost. Because I think that part gives the municipality some additional ability to help recover on things.
I'll just say I appreciate the other talk has come great bringing this idea forward. I'm very open to this idea. I'd love to hear from some of the local folks who deal with deal with these issues on a daily basis. And kind of before I'm ready to jump into it, I want to just hear from them and see if it's. So could we hear from? Welcome back.
I'm still getting edgy.
The mic is on. Could we turn the mic on? Could you introduce yourself again for those who might be listening online?
I'm Vicki Edgerly from the city of Bedford. I think that this sounds reasonable. It's a place to start. I would want it to be that, I would hope that it would say something that somebody that's been making good faith effort to make payments may be eligible for assistance again after 120 days, should their circumstances need it, as long as, and then they would be expected to continue with their payment arrangement when they're back on their feet. But I guess what I'm thinking is if somebody is working, the reason they were disqualified in the first place is because they weren't reporting wages, and then something happened, they got sick for a month, they couldn't make their payment arrangement, and that month they had to have help with rent so they wouldn't be evicted. I would be okay with that, I'd be comfortable with that, and then pick up the payment arrangement when they're back on the feet.
Is that a shared opinion among other folks? I just want to make sure. Thank you. I just want to make sure that if there's any other ideas.
Thank you very much. My name is Dorothy Meaver, and I'm at the City of Auburn. I've had a number of fraud cases in the past, not many, but a few. A lot of them have zero income to start with. And these are the individuals that or very little income. And these are the individuals that are right back there at 120 days. They're mostly single individuals that may be doubling up, not reporting a roommate who has income. They find out that we're not going to pay their rent anymore, they split up. This leaves the individual with zero income. We've had some individuals that have collected from multiple agencies, and these individuals can go into a repayment system with us because of their income. But if you have zero income, nothing has changed for them. They commit fraud, they wait 120 days. Sure, they'll sign an agreement, say that they'll repay it, even on time or whatever. But they're still right back in our office at 121st day, asking for assistance. So I appreciate your effort. I really think that payments is a good idea. And I think that most general assistance administrators, all the ones that I've worked with over the years, 28 years, are fair people. When there's emergencies, regardless of what's happened, we seriously look at that. But just to give them an open door on that 121st day, I'm not totally in favor of that.
So, I'll go down the line this way. So Representative Sanderson, followed by Senator Haskell, and who's the other hand over here? Representative Bristol Collins to make a note of that.
Is the intent of the motion on the floor to ensure that if they're in the process of making good faith payments, that these payments be kept up in order to maintain that GA assistance after the 120 days? If they fail to make those payments, is the municipality still required to provide GA if they're not making a repayment in good faith?
Again, I think, the repayment plan has to be a plan that is based on the ability to pay. It's got to be something that reflects the circumstances of the person. So, I think the point you make is well taken.
Yes, Representative Sanderson.
Because, obviously, as Vicki mentioned, you may find individuals who come that next month and they aren't able to make that payment. But if they're working in good faith with the municipality, and it is up to the municipality to say, yes, okay, we get it, we're still going to give you your help this month and we'll pick up your payment next month. But if you have somebody who has entered into a payment program to repay restitution, and a good faith effort is not kept up to maintain those payments, I think we're talking a different story. So I just want to make very clear what we're crafting out here to make sure that, as this lady is telling us, we're not just crafting a payment system and that's just another loophole for some individuals who would circumnavigate the system, certainly not the vast majority, but some, to get back into the system at 120 days. Is that the intent?
So since there's a direct question, and this is Representative Heinrichson's motion, Representative Heinrichson to answer that, but Senator Haskell is still next in the queue.
So if I can just read this again, and that GA eligibility can be reestablished, which also means that it can't be reestablished after 121 days upon repayment or agreement to a repayment plan that reflects the ability of the person to repay with a good faith effort. We could add with a good faith effort. Would that give you authority if you say you haven't had a good faith effort? I can say I can, but I can also say it can't be reestablished after 121 days.
We have a few individuals, and it is not the majority by any means. We are talking about a few individuals who do know all the loopholes. And if if there's no employment, what kind of good faith effort can they go into after 120 days to repay us when they still need housing and we would still have to pay out their housing?
Then you could say that it can't be reestablished.
Can I ask a question? Isn't there an or in here? Doesn't it say repay or a payment plan is established?
Upon repayment or agreement.
So,
So if it's not repaid and there's no repayment plan, then they don't become eligible again.
so can I, a question for Representative Hymanson, through the chair, which is me. Is the intention here that we give the municipality a second option, that they could still say, we'd like you to repay all of this before you qualify, but the municipality can also say, but they can also choose to say, well, we're willing to work with you on a repayment plan, but it's the municipality's choice, which depending on the situation, the circumstances, which one they want to impose.
And then someone can reapply with a, in the best case scenario, they have a repayment plan that reflects their ability to pay. They repay, 121 days comes by, everything's going well, and they get their voucher going again while they're on the repayment plan. That's the best case. What you're stopping is someone who comes at 121 days and says, here I am again, and you say, well, you need a repayment or an agreement for a repayment plan that reflects your ability to pay with a good faith effort. Do you have that? And they say, well, not really, I don't have a job. You can say that, well, eligibility won't be established because that says, and that GA eligibility can be reestablished after 120 days. Well, you're able to say it can't be because you didn't do these things.
Then I'm okay with that.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm interpreting it the way I want it to be. Somebody stop me.
You need to say may, not can.
Oh, okay. May. Oh, that's right.
May and shall are the two.
Senator Haskell and Representative Hymanson, if you could hit your mic.
Thank you. I think we're trying to make a first step here. I don't think we're going to solve all the problems. I'm not sure that you might not have to take legal action on somebody who is as chronic an offender as that person is. And I would hope that this would give you an opportunity to sort out the wheat from the chaff, if you will, here, and know which ones you're going to say that DA, oh yeah, I've got reason to move on this one. So I think this is a first step. It's not as far as the original bill went, but I do think it's a good faith first step in order to help you maybe focus on those ones and give you the opportunity to say to people, here's what I can do that I haven't been able to do before, but I can now. And I think that gives you both an opportunity to work with people who, with a little help, want to really stay on the straight and narrow about this, and sort out those who really don't, and use those as your opportunity to move on to different cases. But that's my view of where I think we would come with them.
Representative Burstein? All right. Is there any additional discussion? Representative Sanderson?
Just a very quick comment. With our first vote having been taken, of course, our intent, for those of us who voted for it, is to make sure that our municipalities do have the tools. I'm very grateful for this amendment coming forward because I think that's an opportunity for us to put out a unanimous not to pass as amended vote out of this committee, move this ball forward to greater accountability, and also giving our municipalities the tools that they need to better administer this program and not get caught in that middle rub there of having to give out to folks who may be using the system. And as you said, you have some who do and come in, show up on those 120 days on cycle. And this will give you some tools to help alleviate that and reserve these program benefits for, our folks who are really needing a hand. And thank you for what you do.
I'd like to call a quick corner caucus. Very quick.
2 minutes. All we have to do is all
Oh, no, we're at It's just the responsibility for it to be part of it. Right. What you said, the landscape. And then one of them
No. I'm going to go. The first thing is.
What?
Power drain.
I don't even know what's on my calendar tomorrow. Thank you. Fun. I'll soda. Yeah. I appreciate it. Bring back the time. That was good.
Maybe that's another bill. Sorry. Just why.
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. For my else.
Sitting around all this time. And you get a rough time with spill. You want to get brownie points just for showing up, right?
I guess all my committee was up.
All right, we're back. We just have some, we like this idea. We would like to see some additional, two things added to it, however. First, we'd like to see that the agreement, the payment plan has to be in writing, something that is signed and on record, so that if there are any questions about it's there in writing. And we'd also like to see that there be a requirement that of the total amount owed, that at least be the plan have a minimum of being paid back at least 4% a month. So
at least what?
At least 4% a month. So that would give a 2-year period for that amount to be paid back. And so I'll move that as an amendment, and then we can discuss that. So I'll move that we. So I'm amending the motion. Or. I don't think that's Robert's rules, but I won't push that thing. Well, we can. So let's discuss that. That's. Yes, Representative.
Yeah, I'd be willing to agree to the first stipulation. Again, I think we took a vote here a few minutes ago on Senator Saviello's bill, where I think we sent a pretty strong message that we want this to be administered at a local level, and I think the terms of the repayment plan should be between the person and the municipality. So, I don't, it would make sense for us to start micromanaging that. I was going to say Thomas Jefferson, one like that. I guess I just did say that.
Could we hear from? Could we there's some reasons for this. Could we maybe hear from Sam Adelson with the department and some of the experiences?
Yeah.
Yes, Representative.
Again, if we're just going to continue to hear, I listened very carefully and really appreciated the fact that we have extremely experienced people who have administered these programs for many, many years, more experience than anybody else in this room, whether they're legislators or people that work for the department. I think we worked hard to craft something to meet those concerns. That we heard. Obviously, we're going to hear. If the department wants to be heard on this, we'll hear from the department. But if this is simply, let me tell you a story about something that happened, I just don't think that that's.
Or let's invite some of the hear the thoughts of
Let's,
some of the
I mean, this is not a work, okay. It's not a public hearing anymore, so, but if it's useful, then obviously you're the chair and this is.
Yeah, you say we crafted this, well, we went off into separate corners and things were crafted, so this is us coming together and continuing to craft that. So, Representative Bashan.
I think we can't lose sight of the fact that we are talking about repayment of a misrepresentation and a fraudulent application here, where the repayment system has to be in place where it can't be paying back $1 a month as repayment. It has to be acknowledged that a misrepresentation in the application and the receipt of assistance took place. And well, no, that we're talking specifically around misrepresentation in the application. The payment system, like, we all hate making payments. You have to pay the pain a little bit so that you don't do this again, so that money is going to the right people for the right purposes at the right time. That $1 a month is just not going to work, and having the intent of what this is all about. And I just want to make sure we keep that in mind.
Senator Haskell.
Thank you very much, Representative Shaw. I can understand where you're coming from. The reason that I can't go along with the 4% is this is a process prior to, this is an agreement prior to any due process for the individual. And I think that makes a real difference. The second thing that I would say about that is the agreement here is a mutual agreement. This can't be the individual saying, I'm going to pay you about. This has to be a mutual agreement between that GA administrator and the individual who is doing it. And so I think that's the balance that I would like to keep. If the individual does not like the agreement, they have then the right to go to the hearing administrator, get a different deal, determine it wasn't fraud, then they've got their